Your customer doesn't care how good you are at doing your work. They care how you're going to make them feel and the results and the feelings that they're going to have after you do the work for them. But they want to be the hero. They want to have success. They don't want you to have success by getting lots of money. I'm Ben Porter with Purple Cow Brands, and welcome to the Working Class Roundup.
Saddle up. Punch that clock. Let's ride.
This is the Working Class Roundup. Spurs, truck, boots up, pants run. Clock in, hold on, don't fold up. We get paid, get trained, still show up. From the plant yard dust to the highway rust, raise that cup, let's sound off. This is the Working Class Roundup.
Yeehaw! Welcome to the Working Class Roundup. I'm your host, Cowboy Jody Collins, and with me this morning is my friend Ben Porter from Purple Cow. How you doing this morning?
I'm doing wonderful.
Awesome, awesome. Isn't it appropriate that we've got a Purple Cow on a roundup?
Yeah.
He's speechless. I love it. I even wore the purple for you today. So thanks for being the guest today. What we do here on the Working Class Roundup is we feature small and medium-sized businesses in the great state of Texas. We share with you their inspiration, their stories, and then we put a little bit of a spin on it, and we talk about insurance needs, worries, and nightmares. So with that, let's dig in. Okay, Ben, what is it exactly that you do with Purple Cow? Because again, that's a unique name. It's a really cool name, but what does it mean?
We build websites for extraordinary companies.
Okay.
So Purple Cow, that's companies that stand out, and we are a fully focused web design agency.
Nice.
That's all we do. We don't get into marketing or advertising or any of those kind of things, social media. We're just focused on websites.
You're just the builder. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, that's cool. Now, I was always told that building that website is not rocket science. However, you were a rocket engineer? Is that true?
That is true. My first career, or my degree is in mechanical engineering.
Okay.
And my first job out of college was working at a rocket production facility. So that doesn't seem very applicable. Like, how did I end up in web design? Where did I go wrong? I went into engineering because I enjoy problem solving and creativity. And so it really has flowed in naturally. But that's also one of our advantages as a company, is that me and my co-founder both, we have project management and engineering backgrounds. And so one of the weakest points that a lot of web design companies have is or creative companies in general, is dropping the ball and being disorganized. But we are project managers first at heart, and we just hire the creative people and we round them up, so to speak.
That's a great segue. And you know, that makes sense, because again, they always say that creative, I mean, if you look, I'm a creative cat, right? I really am. If you look at my desk, it looks chaotic. It's controlled chaos, but it is chaotic. It doesn't look as clean. And so that would make sense that because you have that project management background, that's very, very, very tedious, very, very check the box before you move on, right? I always remember movies where they're going through their checklist before they launch, and you do the same thing for the website design. Is that a fair statement?
Yeah, building the checklists, keeping people on task and accountable to following the process. I'm also the sales guy, so I'm doing a lot of that. But yeah, another point, when you said web design isn't rocket science, it is true. These days, like more and more with AI, you can like vibe code a website, you can use Squarespace or something. So the real value proposition of our company isn't just that we can build you a functional website, it's that we do all the copywriting for you. So we're the creative marketing strategists behind your website. So we learn from you all about your company so that we can write on your behalf. We're not asking you to write all the copy. We're not asking you to think up who your target market is. We'll help you identify that and then build a website that speaks to that market.
Interesting. That's a very interesting, because I think that's a really brilliant way of approaching it. Because oftentimes when you're looking at your car, on the one side, even if you walk around full street, you don't see everything that's going on with it, right? But a third perspective that does that same pattern will notice things that you just, I've become numb to it. It's kind of like that, what is that sense deprivation, where you just get used to the smell and well, that stinks. What are you talking about? I don't smell anything, right? So that makes sense.
One of the most common things where people just kind of tone it out or even once you know the principle, it's very hard to apply it yourself, is the principle of making the customer the hero of the story. It's the story branding principle. There's the book StoryBrand, a very good book. If anyone hasn't read it, I highly recommend it. But there's the principle, the overall principle is that you need to tell a story to captivate your audience, and the story has to be about them, not about you as the company. I can explain that principle in about 5 seconds like I just did, but to actually apply it on your website is very, very hard. We almost never see a business owner capable of getting their head in that right space to think from the customer's perspective. So having a third party tell you, no, you're just thinking about yourself. You're just talking about how long you've been in business or how good you are at doing your work. Your customer doesn't care how good you are at doing your work. They care how you're going to make them feel and the results and the feelings that they're going to have after you do the work for them. But they want to be the hero. They want to have the success. They don't want you to have success by getting lots of money from them.
See, that makes even more sense because I think parallels to web design to like the film industry, right? Because in the film industry, you have directors, you have set designers, you have wardrobe, you have all these specialists that are very singularly focused on something else. And the talent comes in, right? And they do their thing. And the story writer, they come in and they give the script over to somebody else. But somebody else helps it become life. They breathe life into it. And that's because, again, a principle that I firmly believe in is that ideas sometimes grow better in other people's brains. You might have an idea, but you don't know how to sprout it. And what you're saying is that you've built the company that helps nurture those ideas of seeds that they flourish, right? They blossom. I love that. Now, you have a rule, you told me about this, that you don't build a website unless the founder commits to spending 3 hours with you. So you have a complete understanding of their company, their vision, their model. Talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, it comes to that story branding principle, that principle of we need to be able to speak to their target market. A lot of founders haven't taken the time themselves to properly identify a clear and precise target market. A lot of them have some idea of who their target market is, but they rarely are focused enough or niched down enough in who that target market is. And so part of that is we just need the time to develop with them and throw ideas at them and say, well, would you rather work with these? You've given us a whole list of people you want to work with, but would you rather work with this segment or that segment? You have to choose. Let's narrow it down here a little bit. We also just need to understand where they're coming from, what's the passion that brought them into this business, so that we can then flip that around from the customer's perspective and identify what would be the things that would draw someone to work with a person like this.
Okay.
And because, like I said, the business owner can't really think from that customer perspective most of the time, we have to just get the full picture of who the business owner is, what business they're trying to build, the culture they want to have, the kinds of work they want to be doing. It just is a matter of a conversation that takes a few hours to eventually ask those probing questions to get to the real deep answers behind why did you start this business. There was a photographer I spoke with. Her initial reason, like her initial pitch was, I only do photo shoots if someone orders a print. Like that's a requirement for me. And so I was like, well, why do you do that? Is it because you want to work with people who appreciate, I don't know, physical items or nice interior decoration or something? And we were trying to figure out what it was. And eventually, after like a half hour of conversation, we finally figured out, or I finally got her to say the real reason, which was that growing up, she would see the picture of herself on the wall, and it made her feel like loved and valued. It made it clear that she was a part of the family and that they actually valued her being part of the family. And she wants to help other children feel that same belonging in their families. And now that's a story that we can speak to on a website. We can identify who are the people who care about their children feeling like they belong. That's a lot of people. That's a powerful message.
Yeah, that is. That's you're making her the princess of her own story, as you were saying. That's cool. That's awesome. And that also is a very organic way of approaching it. I love that sense about that, is that it's not a forced, here's your template, here's your cue sheet that we're going to ask you all these questions and then we'll build your website. It's an organic process, which is amazing. And there's not a lot of companies do that. And what you said is true, that I've walked into companies before, because in my history, I was a wholesaler, and I would say, so where's your mission statement? And they're like, what? And I'm like, your mission statement, like, why are you doing this? What's your passion? How do you coach your employees or, your staff? How do you motivate them to all move in the same direction as opposed to just individual goals? So very cool, Ben. I love that. That's awesome. Now, you also said here in your notes to me you build exclusively on Framer,
Yeah, Framer.
which is a new platform than WordPress, right? Totally technical gig. This dog don't hunt in those fields. So talk to me about that. What is it you make it so unique? What is Framer so much better than the old WordPress?
Yeah, it is a fairly technical question, or the most technical thing I brought up. But the reason I bring it up is because about 80% of, especially small business websites, maybe even 90%, are built on WordPress. And people, that can be a question or a point of pushback when we're talking to them about their website, is they will say, but my website's on WordPress. If you build it somewhere else, like, is that going to be worth it? Because now if I want to go back to some other developer, I'm probably going to have to switch back to WordPress. Like, you're yanking me around. Like, is this going to cause a lot of rework? Like, why would I go through, like, it is a little bit of a bit of extra effort to move it to Framer, right? Well, the reason that we use Framer is just that it's a more modern tool, it's more secure. The main important thing to know about Framer is that the tools that we choose to use is that we want to do the work that we are good at and not get sucked into all the work, the technical details, the security backups, the updating plugins and keeping your website from getting hacked, and oh, your website got hacked. Now we have to get up at midnight and go like fix something. That's what a lot of web hosting and web development companies are doing out there because they're using WordPress, because they're using basically, frankly, outdated technology that is insecure. But a more modern platform, it's more expensive for us. It can sometimes be a point of friction during the sales process to convince people to switch. But it's worth it to us because it allows our team to be entirely creative designers, and we don't have any developers. We don't have a need for a development side of the business because our focus is marketing websites. And
Right.
for a marketing website that's not highly interactive, it doesn't have a bunch of e-commerce or custom pulling in from data sources and filling in like sheets of data or an app that you log into. If we don't have any of that, then there's no need in this day and age to manage plugins or manage security updates. If your website's pretty simple, then you don't need a developer, you just need a designer. And that's what Framer allows us to do, is to have a much more creative team, much more focused.
And you bring up a good point with that, right? Because again, more security, because the technology world, right? I can't tell you how many claims I've had come into my office for hacking, for people, their business got hacked, right? And for some of that, not only is it their website, but then their website's also attached to their CRM, which is attached to all their data files, all their existing clients, right? Because that's just the natural segue. Is there's a lead generation built in on their platform, on their website, that as you capture information, it maps it over to the CRM, which then turns it into a lead that they can follow up on. When that gets hacked, damage is done, right? Now your brand is hurt. And that's not a pretty picture. I mean, I've gotten those letters from companies before that says, oh, unfortunately we were hacked and we're going to pay for 2 years of monitoring on your credit score and your history. You're like, what the heck? Really? So it makes sense that you would want to use a more up-to-date server and platform for that. It's interesting because it's almost like that question back in the day when Beta or VHS. I just dated myself. That was really bad. But like everybody's going back to vinyl, right? I was walking through the mall with my wife yesterday, and we literally saw a record store, like the ones that I saw back when I was in junior high. And when I asked the guy, because again, I'm a curious kind of cat, I walk in, I'm like, hey, really? A vinyl store? What's and they're like, oh, you can't beat the sound. You can't get that on the digital. It's so compressed. It's so you can't get. And so, yeah, people, they want to make sure that it's the best, but also that it's accomplishing what they want, which is the enjoyment. And again, most people that start their business love what they do. They love it, and it's their passion project. So that makes sense.
Yeah, an analogy kind of like, well, I don't have a VHS analogy, but I did watch VHS tapes as a kid. I actually, like, through college, I would buy movies as VHS because they were like 10 cents at the thrift store. So if I wanted to watch something, I'd just go there. But yeah, one analogy, like, there's nothing necessarily wrong with WordPress, but when you use WordPress, you're adopting a lot more of overhead and yes, security risk, but a lot more overhead that now you have to have a team that's like got technical development skills.
Okay.
So it's kind of like how you used to be able to host your own email. I mean, you can still host your own email if you want to. You can set up a server in the back room and you can have your emails routed through there, or you can just pay $6 a month for a Gmail account. And then you don't have to have an IT department in your 2-person company. So that's essentially the realm that we're operating in. We have 5 people in our company right now. And if we were using WordPress, we'd need to have at least 1 or 2 more to handle the development side.
Interesting.
So it allows us to keep our prices lower, our creativity higher. We don't have developers saying no to things.
Oh, that's a perfect way to
yeah.
do it. Yeah. And that's a perfect segue. Right now, we're going to hear a message from a few of our sponsors and partners. We'll be right back to the Working Class Roundup.
So, social media. Let's talk about it. So, with social media these days, video content is key. It's just a fact of life. If you're not posting video content on a weekly basis for your business, you're missing a huge amount of attention that could be coming to you. And attention is awareness. And awareness is trust. Trust brings clients. If you're interested in knowing a little bit on how video content can help your business, then click on the link below and we'll go from there.
Hey, Working Class Nation, Cowboy Jody Collins here with Amex Commercial. If you own your business, if you have a business you work for and you need to protect it, we want to be that company to protect you. We want to offer you those solutions that fit your budget. We can offer general liability, workers' comp, commercial auto, or any of the other commercial lines of business available to protect your assets. Give us a call today at the link below. We'd love to help you out. See you on the flip side. Enjoy the rest of the show. Hey, welcome back to the Working Class Roundup. I'm Cowboy Jody Collins, and with me again, my guest, Ben with Purple Cow. So now we're flipping the script. Now we're going to talk about things that are concerning in the insurance industry with web design. And one of the big ones is AI, the introduction of AI into tech companies, right? And the reason I say that is that insurance companies are very nervous. It's an unknown commodity. And as I've said on previous podcasts, that if anything's unknown, insurance companies don't want to insure it. They're like, we don't know how to price it, right? It's like that Turo, right? That was a new big buzz thing. Everybody's renting their own personal cars out because they're not driving anywhere. And insurance companies like, I'm not touching that. That dog don't hunt. I don't want it. We got to see how it performs. And then they have to put it with specialty markets or offshore Lloyd's of London. And then once they get a little bit of history, they'll be able to insure it, or they'll be able to offer some product or rates on it. So in web design, how much AI is being used or utilized in your business, and what do you use it for?
I mean, AI, obviously there's some unknowns and some risks there, so there's a question of what's the right, is it going to come back to bite us? But there's no getting away from the fact that it can be it really increase your productivity to use AI. So yeah, we have to adopt it, and we're looking for more and more ways that we can use it. We don't really build it, at this point, we haven't built it into our websites. There are some reasonable features you can do, like a little chat bot that can pop up and be like an AI assistant chat bot. Do lead collection, there's those kind of plugins you can install. Mostly we're using AI to record transcripts of those onboarding conversations we have with clients, and then to summarize those, and then we can, as we're writing the website, we can ask questions like, hey, what does this company, like what's their approach to this? And it can read the transcript for us and pull out any relevant information from the transcript quickly. So there's a lot of that, like summarizing and rehashing and mixing together information from multiple meetings and multiple things that we've written. There's research that's done, like when we need to write a new blog post, we need to write some news article about something, to go and research whatever's the latest trends, the latest news about a topic.
A little summary tab. Okay.
Pull in, like, because you can use a deep research on like Google Gemini and it'll read 200 articles online that now I don't have to read, and it'll find the most relevant ones. Now I can just read those top 3 or whatever. So there's a lot of research and draft writing and that kind of thing that's done. But we always will have, like the human writes the final draft. So that could be a risk, I suppose, if you're just posting automatically AI content out there, that it could be like a risk to the brand reputation, or like, hey, you should have checked this first. I suppose if you're using AI wrong in like a free account, where if you're using a free AI account, they will train on your data, like they will ingest that data, like anonymize it as much as it's possible to make it anonymous, and then train future models on that data. So that's always a risk. But if you're using a paid like enterprise version AI account, it'll have a note that says like they're not going to, they keep
It's
it private.
proprietary, and
So they're not going to train on it. But as we get more advanced with AI, I think this is going to be kind of the year that AI starts to become, the AI agents has been a promise for a long time. It seems like 2026 is probably going to be a big year for that, for like let's connect your Google Drive, your Google Contacts, your email and everything into an AI and then let it run every hour and like check your email, and if there's anything important, like create a task for you in your project management system and all this stuff. And once you start doing that and the AI is taking any kind of actions, I think there could be a lot more AI risk.
Yeah, they definitely got. But you just actually said the quiet part out loud, which was good. Is if you are in a business where you're adopting AI into your model, which again, that's the future. I get that. But that conversation you just had with me is the dialogue you should be having with your insurance professional. And it's a good thing you're my client. So, but yeah, that was part of that thing that we had a discussion about as I was writing your general liability is how are you using AI? Because the carriers want to know, because they have to underwrite it and they want to make sure that you're not putting yourself out there, as you said, with something that's a public one where somebody's trademark or their coin brand is out now being recycled somewhere else, because that's a lawsuit. That's a liability, and we want to avoid that.
Or any kind of trade secrets.
Exactly, proprietary information. I've seen people say, "Oh, I'm uploading my spreadsheets." I'm like, that means your data now belongs to everybody. So that's great, you did it. Thank you, Ben. I appreciate this conversation. It was really great. Again, Purple Cow. You guys need web design if you're looking for that special organic built site that's going to drive business and it's tied to your passion. Make sure you click in the link below and learn about Purple Cow. Remember, if you have questions about how to insure or protect that business, you talk to us here at Amex Commercial. We'll help you out. Thank you, Working Class Nation, for joining us today. And a special thank you, Ben, for joining me today. I appreciate it.
You're welcome. Glad to be here.
Awesome. Thank you, brother.